Latest date in the season for the first meeting between these two teams. The second meeting, the rematch, will come up on Christmas weekend in Foxborough. Kevin Williams deep to return the kickoff from Adam Vinatieri as Buffalo wins the toss, and Vinatieri will now try and ride the wind. It blows from his back at 20 to 25 miles an hour. This one will be returned. First contact made at the 20-yard line, and Williams out of bounds at the 24. The tackle made by Larry Wiggum. And Doug Flutie strolls on the field. Tough week last week. But for the season, 14 touchdowns and 13 interceptions. 2 of those came in the loss to the Jets last week at the Meadowlands. He also was tackled for a fumble in the end zone recovered by the Jets for a touchdown. So Flutie trying to right the ship and get Buffalo back on track. First down and 10, and Antoine Smith does start at tailback. Smith comes left. And out of bounds near the 27-yard line. A tackle made by Teddy Bruschi. Here is the offensive line. Fina, Brown, Ostrowski. Jamie Nails gets the start for Dusty Ziegler today. Robert Hicks also there. Smith and Gash in the backfield. Eric Moulds and Andre Reed, the wideouts. Bobby Collins replaces Remersma at tight end. And Wade Phillips, in his second season as head coach, has a 17-10 record. Sheldon Jackson, the second tight end, in motion. Smith goes right this time, bumps into Jackson and cuts back to the left. Willie McGinnis is there to make the tackle. Patriots defense has been susceptible to the run this year. Up front, it's Mitchell, Eaton, Henry Thomas, and McGinnis. Slade, Katzenmoyer, the rookie, and Bruschi, the linebackers. And in the secondary, Law, Carter, Malloy, and Steve Israel. Pete Carroll in his third season as the head coach. And the Bills now with the 3rd down and 6. And Jonathan Linton has come into the backfield. Flutie will go out of the shotgun.
And into the wind.
And a fumble. A scramble at the 23. Flutie got it back.
Well, the snap from Jerry Ostrowski was right on. It hits Doug Flutie directly in the chest. Ostrowski, number 60. You see the snap, and Doug distracted, I'm assuming, by the threat of the New England blitz right in the middle of the field. It's a perfect snap, and Doug just doesn't handle it. So after a shaky week last week, a shaky start in the first series here for Buffalo and Doug Flutie.
Troy Brown will return the punt of Chris Moore. Moore hangs it up, and Brown gathers it in at the 35. Good downfield coverage by the Bills special teams. Dan Brandenburg was a part of the tackle. Number 96. And Drew Bledsoe, who has had a miserable 2 weeks. 12 interceptions on the season, 8 of them in the last 2 games. 5 most recently in the loss at Miami.
Miserable is a tough and a harsh word, Vern, that you hate to apply to anybody, but it's pretty descriptive.
First down and 10 at the 35. Terry Allen and Tony Carter in the eye. Tony Simmons in motion. Here's Allen testing the middle of the Bill defense and moves it out to the 40-yard line. Let's check the New England offense now. Armstrong, Heath Irwin, Damian Woody, a rookie who will have a test today, Todd Rucci, and Zephyrus Moss. Allen and Carter the backs, Jefferson and Glenn the wideouts, and Ben Coates. And Drew Bledsoe told us last night he expects Ben Coates to have a big day today. 2nd and 7. That's Carter in motion. Allen gets the handoff, and again, boys, he popped. Sam Cowart, the second-year linebacker, who has become a real leader on this Buffalo defense. Hanson, Washington, and Smith up front. You've seen Cowart. He's joined by Rogers, Holotek, and Gabe Northern. And in the secondary, Ken Urban, Schultz, Henry Jones, and Thomas Smith. 3rd and 7. Four wide receivers and a flag as Bruce Smith came across the line and claims to have been drawn there by Bruce Armstrong.
Well, you can see that New England working on the silent snap count, the lifting of the leg by Drew Bledsoe, the signal to his center, Damian Woody, that you can snap at any time after that.
Before the snap, encroachment, defense, number 90. 5-yard penalty, it's still 3rd down.
Oh, the encroachment came on the left side. That was Phil Hansen.
And it looked like Buffalo's defensive line almost went on that leg lift by Drew Bledsoe. When the quarterback lifts his leg, and he's out of our picture to the left, about the same time that he lifts it is when you get the entire Buffalo defensive line moving. Bruce Smith, they singled out Hansen, but he was hardly alone.
Here is where the Pats have suffered the last couple of weeks. 3rd down. They're converting about 20%, or right at 20%, and we've got another flag, and this time movement on the left side of the offensive line.
And then another flag came in late.
Before the snap, false start, offense, number 98. 5-yard penalty, it's still 3rd down.
Well, it's cold, and the 7 looks like a 9 sometimes.
Needless to say, there is no number 98 on the New England offense. We're assuming he's number 78, Bruce Armstrong, the talented left tackle, and he obviously left a good second early. So they get a break that gave them a 3rd and short, and in the holiday spirit, New England gives it right back.
3rd and 7. Shotgun. Bledsoe with a lot of time. Behind Troy Brown, a flag is thrown.
Brown arguing that he was held.
And once again, we're going to get to hear from Ed Hockley.
3 plays, 3 flags here.
Before the pass was thrown, holding, defense, number 20. 5-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
Well, that's how you pick up the 1st down. Troy Brown right here is in the slot, and he's working against Henry Jones. He's going to make his move there to the outside, but watch him come back to the inside. There's the hold. In fact, the hold was going outside. The hold was coming inside. That was a pretty effective all-around hold by Henry Jones.
'Twas 1st and 10. Here's Bledsoe. Quick setup. Dodges the first tackle. Can't get the second. Bruce Smith went right over his back and missed his 170th sack. But Gabe Northern got it.
Well, this was, again, even though a couple of guys working on Bruce Smith, you see him over there on the backside. But it's hard to imagine that he gets away. Big move to the inside, and that's a nice job by Drew of getting away, but then the rest of the Buffalo guys arrive. Keep in mind now, New England has the wind at their back this quarter, and it would behoove them to move the ball through the air in this wind.
Play action for Bledsoe. Comes into the flat for Tony Carter. And a nice open field tackle made by Sam Coward at the 40-yard line.
Being down on the field prior to the game, it's hard to underscore how severe a wind this is, and it's coming right down the field, and while you have it at your back, you better make something happen.
Now, this was an unexpected delight on Thanksgiving. They forecast possible snow showers at one time, but late last night the forecasters said, well, it might be a little windy too.
The field is in wonderful shape. It's perfectly dry. It's not a problem, but this wind is.
Lamont Warren in on 3rd and 14. Bills with a 4-man rush, and Bledsoe buys time and goes to Ben Coates. Coates weaves his way close for the 1st down. And what a 3rd down conversion this would be. Donovan Greer and Henry Jones collaborate defensively, but this might be enough for a 1st and 10.
Well, I think they're going to call for the measurement. Ed Hockley making all sorts of signals. Good run after the catch by Ben Coates, and it's been pretty well documented that he's having a disappointing season with the Patriots in terms of the number of catches. But as everyone in New England and Buffalo knows, if Ben is to get healthy, it may be against Buffalo. and just a skosh short.
Ooh, a skosh.
But if Ben is to get healthy, everybody who follows this series suspects that it might be today. He has had monster career days against the Bills before.
10 of his career touchdowns have come against Buffalo. Now Pete Carroll with the decision. And mired in a 2-game losing streak on the road. Wind at your back, fourth and a smidgen or a skosh. Take your pick. He's going to go for it.
Well, this is a statement decision by Pete Carroll. This is saying, guys, I believe in you. And they come through for him.
Bledsoe goes left. The blocks of Heath Irwin and Bruce Armstrong.
As an offensive player, you really respond when a coach says, I have the utmost confidence in you guys to deliver. An excellent serve. Look at that. They even moved Ted Washington back. Damien Woody. Let's say it in stereo.
We are a chorus.
This is one of the good matchups today. The rookie center, the #1 draft choice for the Patriots against Big Ted.
Allen to the 43-yard line. Now let's check in now with the third member of our commentary team. Here's Bonnie Bernstein.
Hi, Vern. The Patriots have had trouble this season getting any type of consistent running game going, but Pete Carroll told me before the game in order for his team to win, they're going to have to carry the ball about 30 times. Now, he'd like to split that between Terry Allen and rookie Kevin Falk, but 30 carries is an awful tall order. Allen has averaged just 2.9 yards a carry the last 2 games, and Kevin Falk is struggling with a shoulder injury.
All right, Bonnie, stay warm. Second down and 9. Here's Allen going left. They got a good block on Thomas Smith, but it was too good. Sean Jefferson is going to get flagged for this one. Hooked him.
Holding, offense, number 87. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
Well, 87 instead of 84.
Well, Ben Coates was, I believe, in motion coming across the formation to play side, and he's the guy that's he gets singled out by Ed Hockley. Here's Coates turning right upfield there, putting a block on Gabe Northern. Well, that wasn't on Sam Rogers, rather, number 59, not 99. But I agree with you, Vern. Sean Jefferson was right there at the point attack as well, but the call goes against Coates.
Second down and 19. Bledsoe, little screen pass left side. Out of the backfield to Kevin Falk. And he gets back to the 49-yard line. Midway through the opening quarter. Now, we chatted with Drew Bledsoe last night, and he said he had taken a long time for introspection to try and figure out what was going on. And he said the one thing he determined, Dan, is that he needed to continue to trust the system.
And he said, I've ventured outside the system. I have tried to do too much. I have tried to make too many big plays. And he's no matter how talented you are, it's still an 11-man game against 11 men.
Here comes the stunt. Good protection again. Little crossing route. And Tony Simmons gets it out of bounds at the 40-yard line. That will be short of the first down. And the Patriots will have to give it up.
Tony Simmons starts at the far side and just comes all the way across on a crossing pattern, and it's a shallow pattern. And in a situation where you need about 15 yards to get a first down, that's a pattern that the Bills will be more than happy than allow you to complete.
Kevin Williams perched at the 10-yard line. Lee Johnson, longtime left-footed punter, with his first effort of the day. That would go in for the touchback and come out to the 20-yard line. 39 yards on the punt for Johnson. Buffalo has it for the second time. Scoreless first quarter, 6:46 remaining in the opening quarter. Last week, the Heidi game was voted as the NFL's 10th most memorable game. This Wednesday, find out what's at number 9, only on NFL.com. Terry Glenn has not played in the game, listed as a starter, and we're guessing here because it's not been confirmed, but he was given a speeding ticket early Thursday morning and was late for practice.
Yeah, more significant, I think, was the fact that he was late for practice, and you would assume that this is some type of a disciplinary action by Pete Carroll, sitting him down, although he did not tell us about it ahead of time.
First down and 10. Flutie gets the handoff, and they test the middle. Flag is down. This is the 5th time we've had a flag in the play.
A sloppy start to this football game. 2 on each team so far. Now New England takes the lead.
3-2.
Offside. Defense number 24 jumped into the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Ty Law is the cornerback who today will predominantly be locked up on Eric Moulds. I thought in the first series he was dangerously close to being in the neutral zone, lined up in his predominantly man-to-man coverage.
And they come to the left side on first down and 5. Handed off to Jonathan Linton. He comes left, is met and driven down as he gets to the 30-yard line. Tackle made by Lawyer Malloy. Well, let's go back to New York and get an update from Jim Nantz. All right, Jim, Tennessee has a quiet 2-loss season going, don't they?
They sure do, and of course we were there when they handed Jacksonville their only loss.
That rematch with Jacksonville comes up Christmas weekend on CBS. First down and 10 on the last play. Now Law drops off Moulds. Andre Reed trying to help the blockers. A little cutback play from Jonathan Linton, number 35. And the second-year running back moves it out to the 33-yard line.
Well, this is the number 6 ground attack in the National Football League with Antoine Smith and this guy Jonathan Linton doing the bulk of the work. Linton was bothered earlier with a knee. It's completely healthy now, and the cutback was there, so he took it. But of the 2 teams here today, certainly the most powerful of the ground games belongs to Buffalo.
Linton gets a rest. Antoine Smith is back on. Still favoring a turf toe just a little bit, though he did practice full out on Wednesday. Play fake, Flutie fires it out, caught by Antoine Smith, and he is all alone as he crosses the 50. The tackle finally made at the 45 by Andy Katzenmoyer.
That's a very effective call by Joe Pendry, the offensive coordinator of Buffalo. Run everybody deep, and every time that time for Buffalo is running a 30-yard pattern downfield. Great play action. You see the block by Sam Gash, and all alone out in the flat is Smith. And when he turns upfield, there is nobody in the New England secondary within about 10 or 15 yards.
Well, one reason they probably let him go, remarkably, that is only his 2nd catch of the year. Linton has been catching most of the passes out of the backfield. Here's a reverse. This is Peerless Price, and he paid one. Tackle made by Steve Israel, who was never fooled.
Well, the reverse is a true feast or famine play. Here we have it right over here. Price is going to come around and take the handoff, but this is a play that can either, boy, it gets everybody excited if it's there, but if there is upfield presence, if there's upfield pressure, it just is not going to happen. And this is kind of a rare case where he's actually chased down from behind by Israel. Israel had coverage. You talk about man-to-man coverage, and Doug Flutie's trying to get a block out front. But this is a deal where he had man-to-man coverage and chased him down.
Now Flutie, with time, goes deep for Moulds, who's, it's dropped. Should have been picked off by Chris Carter, who had great coverage on Eric Moulds. So great, in fact, that we have a flag on the ground.
A dangerous pass by Doug Flutie into this wind. You can see the wind just knocked that thing down 3 or 4 yards short of where Doug wanted to deliver it. But he's going to get the call, I believe.
Pass interference. Defense number 42. The ball's placed at the spot of the foul. First down.
Another penalty, and by far and away the biggest of the group. Chris Carter getting called for pushing off with the left hand. But this ball so severely underthrown in an attempt to get it to Eric Moulds I'm not sure that the interference kept Moulds from coming back into it, but this is a huge penalty.
And it gives Buffalo a 1st and goal at the 8-yard line. That's Sheldon Jackson. The handoff to Smith. He comes left behind the blocks of Irwin and Armstrong.
What Carter really did wrong there, Vern, was he was already in position with the ball coming up short. He really didn't have to push off and give that shove to Moulds that drew the flag. The ball was coming to him. The wind was his friend and bringing it right to him, and he needlessly pushed off and drew the flag.
And at the end of it all, a 42-yard penalty. 2nd and goal. Late first quarter, in the wind in Buffalo, backs in the eye. It'll be Smith again. And he gets about 3. Spot should be right at the 3-yard line. Andy Katzenmoyer, the rookie, 1st-round draft pick, number 59, makes the tackle.
And Andy Katzenmoyer, of course, pressed into duty because Ted Johnson, the defensive leader of this team and the guy they count on to really come, tore a biceps tendon at the beginning of training camp, hasn't played at all, is back practicing, and they're hopeful to have him back after the bye. And this is have him back maybe next week, rather. Katzenmoyer, though, has done a wonderful job for a rookie filling in.
3rd and goal. Williams is the motion man. Play fake. Flirting with the spring out. Boy, he is in trouble. Chris Slade was right there. That was run all the way. And Chris Slade knew it and forced it back inside.
I think it's safe to say that Steve Sidwell, the defensive coordinator, has had New England getting ready for this all week long. John Fina pulls out front, tries to get the block, but Chris Slade all over it. Fights off 2 blocks to maintain his containment. Turn Flutie back to the inside to his guys.
Cato Serwanga made the tackle as Slade forced it in. Now Steve Christie, who missed 2 last week, kicks this one into the wind from 28 yards out. Last home game here against Miami, Christie was terrific when he hit 3 of 3.
And any points into the wind, Vern, are like dog points.
Game again a sellout here on the 6th home game of 1999. The Bills with a 4-1 record. Their one loss was back in October to an Oakland Raider team. And they are a hardy bunch here. 70-yard drive.
And they are supportive.
Yes.
I think that this is not that large of a metropolitan community. This is a big stadium, and they fill it routinely.
Here's Christie and Kevin Falk, who has a 24.5-yard return average on kicks, gathers this one in at the 10 and then stumbles at the 23-yard line. So the Patriots get it back. Andrew Bledsoe back on the field. His team now down by 3. AFC Eastern Division game most of you will see next. The Jets at Indianapolis, and others will see Kansas City at Oakland. From the 23.5, here's Allen testing the right side of the offensive line. And the tackle is made by Phil Hansen, number 90.
And once again, Terry Glenn remains on the New England sideline. He is their leading receiver, by far and away their best receiver. We are being told by the Patriots that he is healthy. I don't know what other conclusion we can draw other than this is some action, some type of discipline by Pete Carroll for him being late to a practice this week.
2nd down and 8, Coates in motion. Allen bursts through, got a big hole, and all the way out to the 43-yard line before Henry Jones makes the tackle. That's a quick gain of 16 yards.
Good work here on the left side of the offensive line. There's a good block by Damian Woody there on Ted Washington. And nothing new right there. Heath Irwin gets a good block at the point of attack. And kind of a surprise here, I think, for Buffalo. They feel pretty confident that they're going to be able to throttle any attempt by New England to run this football.
Now they will get to test the wind here in 14 seconds. Play fake. Bledsoe drills it. Nice pass to Jefferson. And depending, yes, that will be good enough for the 1st down. Ken Irvin makes the tackle. Sean Jefferson does garner enough for a 1st down. We have reached the end of one, with the Bills leading by a 3-0 score. We'll return to Ralph Wilson Stadium right after this message.
Fighting a dolphin?
We welcome you back to Ralph Wilson Stadium. Terry Glenn has joined us after sitting out, I assume, a one-quarter penalty. He is on the field.
1/4 in the penalty box.
They do love their sabers here. Well, it's been an interesting week in Foxborough and Boston and Providence and all of New England. As Glenn was tagged with the speeding ticket.
And I think more importantly, tardy to practice. He was late to practice, and Pete Carroll making quite a statement. He sacrificed one of the quarters in this game where he had the wind at his back by sitting down by far and away his most talented receiver. You got to give Pete credit. He made a stand.
On second down, Bledsoe to throw. He's a perfect 6 for 6 now as Carter makes the grab, and that will be enough for the first down. Sam Cowart makes the tackle. Well, let's get an update now on the kind of week it's been. Here's Bonnie Bernstein.
It's been a very hectic week for Pete Carroll, not only regarding the Terry Glenn incident, but he also fined Lawyer Malloy and Vincent Brisby this week after the two got into a scuffle Wednesday night at a Boston area nightclub. Now, Malloy told me this was not a football-related issue. It happened during a fundraiser for Willie McGinnis, and that Pete called both of them singularly into his office and fined them afterwards. Not distractions that the Patriots really need to be dealing with right now, Vern, after a two-game losing streak.
Absolutely, Bonnie. Time has been called as the play clock wound down, and so the New England Patriots use one of their allotment of 3. We'll be back in a moment. How about the distribution of offensive play so far?
Wonderful balance for New England. 6 runs, 6 passes. Ernie Zampese on top of this so far for a guy taking a lot of heat.
Bledsoe will run and slides down back at the line of scrimmage. Ted Washington and Sam Cowart with the tackle. Emmy Award winners James Garner and Julie Andrews star as two people stranded in a blizzard who find a second chance at love. Don't miss these two great stars in a world premiere movie, One Special Night. That is tonight on CBS. Second down and 10. Draw play. Allen again breaks through. This must be really encouraging to the Patriots.
Absolutely, and again, it's what they need going into the win. Again, they go to the left side of their offensive line. Why not? That's where Bruce Armstrong, 6-time Pro Bowler, resides there at left tackle. Heath Irwin at left guard. And, of course, the guy that's really got to come through, and you saw him taking care of Ted Washington there, the rookie Damien Woody. Watch the snap of the football. 350 pounds being blocked there by 330. That's some matchup there between Washington and Woody.
3rd and 1 at the 26. Allen again, left again. Gabe Northern hits him high. And we'll see what the spot is like.
Well, Gabe Northern split the block and got into the backfield. That was just about all of his effort getting in there. Boy, did he talk about getting penetration. That's what Northern did. I think this is going to be close enough to measure. Ed Hockley calling for the chains. Northern in the 2-point stance. Number 93 just beats the block of Rod Rutledge, the tight end. Knifes into the backfield to make the play. On short yardage, as an offensive blocker, you cannot allow a guy to cross your face. You just can't get beat to the inside. If you force the guy outside, chances are you're going to pick up the first down, and as you see here, they're short. He'll be coming from the left, Gabe Northern. And that is what they call a body-altering stick.
Now, Dan, this is a relatively short field goal, but this place has been a horror chamber for Adam Vinatieri. He is 3 for 10 in his career. So they will eschew the field goal attempt and go for the first down. They also would be kicking into a very tough wind.
Well, Vern, it would be about a 43-yard field goal into this wind that in my mind would make it at least a 55-yard field goal.
So for the second time today, the Pats go for it. And for the second time today, fumble. There is a loose football down by contact. This will be a first down.
And I really don't think New England had much of a choice there at all. I think that was way out of Vinatieri's range into this wind. All right, who gets the surge here? Yeah, pretty much of a stalemate at the line of scrimmage. And when you only need 6 inches or so. Wade, of course, thinking the ball was loose, that it came out early.
It is a first down, and Bledsoe drops back to throw. Goes right side, finds his tight end, Coates. A flag is down. The catch made, and the ball down inside the 5. If the play stands, it's a gain of 21.
The flags are downfield. Oh, and they're going to call offensive pass interference.
Pass interference, offense, number 87, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Tight ends, I'm sure, think that why should we ever get called for pass interference the way we get mugged? You see him go right, he just runs right into Kenny Irvin and sends him flying. If you're going to make contact with a defensive back, you got to be a little more subtle than that.
Like, get away from me.
You know, maybe just a slight little nudge, but that was a full-blown assault.
And it wipes out what would have been a first and goal and a 21-yard gain. The ball back at the 35. Lamont Warren is in the lineup. Bledsoe, play fake, and that one is picked off. Intercepted by Cam Irvin. Tackled by Troy Brown. Bledsoe has now thrown 9 interceptions in the last 2 games and a quarter and a half. Irvin gets to pick his first of the season.
Of Drew Bledsoe overcompensating for the win because he overthrows Troy Brown, and Irvin, who had the coverage on Terry Glenn, is able to fall off and come back in and make the interception. But that ball sailed well over the head of Troy Brown.
Bledsoe, 9 interceptions in the last 2.5 games now. And ironically, that's the number of interceptions the Bills have posted for the season. They haven't had many takeaways. 9 for the year now, counting Irvin's. Jonathan Linton is the lone setback. And he gets the handoff from Flutie, about a yard. Willie McGinnis makes the tackle. Tuesday on CBS, an air disaster, or was it pilot error? Perhaps a commander's negligence. Find out on America's #1 action drama. It's an all-new Jag, Tuesday on CBS.
I know that Buffalo has this great ground game, and they're relying on it today. But with the wind at your back, I sure wouldn't be shy about taking a shot with Eric Moulds.
Flutie comes right for Andre Reed, and Reed moves it out to the 28-yard line. Steve Israel with the tackle. That's a gain of 10 for Andre Reed. He's closing in on 13,000 career yards.
Only Jerry Rice and Art Monk have caught more passes in this game than this fella right here, Andre Reed, who's still, after all these years, an effective and productive football player. And that was some draft they had back in 1985. They took Andre in the 4th round, and they took some guy named Bruce Smith with the first pick of that draft.
On 1st and 10, Flutie backs in the eye. Antoine Smith kind of tippy-toed on the turf toe and didn't get much. There's Jamie Nails, the large proportioned Jamie Nails. He weighs in at 354, number 74. He's starting at right guard today, and the guy next to him, Robert Hicks, is listed at 338. Henry Thomas said, it's not going to be pretty if they double team me.
No, Henry was using the old defensive lineman phrase. I'll be grabbing the ground if these two come after me. 6'7" and 6'6" respectively. The age-old question, where is the beef? Well, it is on the Buffalo offensive line for sure. Ostrowski is no piker in there at center, at 3 1/4.
That's 1,000 pounds from the center out. Here's Linton. Tries to cut it back, and it's going to set up a 3rd down. Next Saturday, it's time to hoop it up with the season premiere of CBS Sports coverage of NCAA basketball. How about this matchup? The 10th-seeded Kentucky Wildcats against the Indiana Hoosiers, who knocked off Temple the other night. That's Saturday, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time on the home of the NCAA Championship, CBS.
Well, this is when things get interesting now. Buffalo in the shotgun formation with Doug Flutie.
3rd and 6. No blitz. Flutie comes right. Receiver falls down, and Bucky Jones is going to get called for this one.
Yeah, I don't think there's any choice at all with this flag flying in. Jones appeared to be wrapped up all over the receiver.
Pass interference, defense, number 34. The ball's placed at the spot of the foul. First down.
Jones was their #1 draft choice last year. He's locked up one-on-one here with Peerless Price, and I think that's a matchup that as soon as Flutie sees that, that is the direction that he is going. And Jones goes through Price to the football. I think that's a relatively easy call.
16-yard penalty. Here comes the safety blitz, and Smith weaves his way over the back of Ostrowski across the 50 to the 49-yard line. Teddy Bruschi, number 54, makes the tackle.
Antoine Smith, the tailback. Of course, all Buffalo runners have the luxury of running behind number 33, Sam Gash. And what a matchup that he's going to have all day with Lawyer Malloy, the Pro Bowl strong safety of the Patriots. And that was a bang that you could hear all the way up here in the broadcast booth.
Sam Gash spent 6 years of his career with the Patriots, of course. A very popular player there. Here's Flutie to throw. The blitz coming. He goes for Peerless Price. And it's Steve Israel and Peerless Price down the right side, and good coverage by the cornerback, Steve Israel.
And unblocked is Teddy Bruschi, who just has an unobstructed run at Doug Flutie. Doug knows he's got man coverage, and with Bruschi, number 54, coming, knows he has no choice but to plant and throw. Doesn't get a lot on it, but still got it downfield. And again, he's got the wind at his back. That's why he was able to deliver.
3rd and 8. And again, the shotgun.
Well, Doug likes the shotgun. There's just no doubt that he sees better from this formation.
Screen pass. And they lofted out to Linton. Linton gets a block, but he's caught short of the first down at the 45-yard line. Henry Thomas and Chris Carter with the tackle. And that brings up 4th down. And we will see Chris Moore on 4th and 3. Troy Brown is inside the 10 awaiting the punt.
Well, Lee Johnson for New England, when he was in this situation, put too much into it, got it too high into the wind, and got a touchback. Chris Moore is going to have to choke this baby down a little bit if he wants to drop it in the field of play.
Fair catch called and taken at the 8-yard line. So an effective punt. Yep.
Excellent work by Moore.
Veteran Chris Moore pins the Patriots inside the 10.
Awful looking head.
Here's Kevin Falk, who is in place of Terry Allen, his first carry, and the Patriots continue to move the ball well on the ground. Sean Price makes the tackle, number 91. Well, the weather's getting colder, but the divisional races are heating up. Get a complete review of every team as they battle for the playoff positions. Just click on NFL at cbs.sportsline.com.
See, now there's a guy. Look how dainty that Buffalo tattoo is on his right cheek.
Right.
There's a guy who has some sense of style. got the Go Bills on the head,
Right.
Doesn't believe in overstating his team.
2nd and 3. Good defensive play by the Bills. Sam Coward again, number 56 on Kevin Falk.
And Pat Williams, number 93, a guy that got through there and kind of disrupted the play. Pat Williams, the backup for Big Ted Washington, and he really gets in there and he alters. He's the guy that really changes the play. Kudos to Pat Williams.
On 3rd down, Lamont Warren comes in. Troy Brown and Terry Glenn come to the left side. Jefferson to the right. How about this? Penalty yards and total yards are even. Bruce Smith got a quick jump.
Well, and I think that Bruce Armstrong went right with him. A lot of finger pointing going on now. For the 13th year, Bruce Armstrong and Bruce Smith tee it up against one another.
Snap, false start, offense, number 78. 5-yard penalty, it's still 3rd down.
Friends off the field, playing each other's golf tournaments, but for the 2nd time today, Bruce Armstrong called for the false start. And you keep track of how many sacks Bruce Smith has over his career. But you know something? I bet he's got 3 or 4 times that many false starts out of offensive tackles around the league.
That is the 7th penalty on the Patriots. 7. Bruce Smith, 15th season.
And in an era of behemoths at 258, 260 pounds, a relatively small defensive lineman.
Delay of game called. 8 penalties on the Patriots.
Before the delay, timeout, offense. That's their 2nd charge, timeout.
Well, if you're fond of the color yellow, you're enthralled by what you've seen so far. And 9. Oh boy.
I don't want the job, I just want the plane.
3rd and 9.
In the expense account.
Shotgun. Bledsoe goes right. Flag is thrown again. The catch is made by Terry Glenn in front of Ken Urban.
Side judge over there throwing the flag, and now we have a penalty against Buffalo. Their attempt to try to even things out here.
And that should be an automatic 1st down.
Illegal hands to the face. Defense, number 27. 5-yard penalty and an automatic 1st down.
Boy, that is a tough penalty, a 3rd and long with New England backed up against their own goal line. Ken Urban gets called for the hands to the face as he jams Terry Glenn. The side judge right there looking at it calls it, and that is a there are some penalties that are bigger than others, and that's a biggie.
That gives New England a 1st down at the 15-yard line. Now keep in mind they have used 2 of their 3 timeouts.
But if they could have forced New England into a punting situation into this win, Buffalo would have almost certainly gotten the ball at midfield or maybe even in New England territory.
Kevin Falk is the running back. Bledsoe drifts back and rolls right and throws it away. He was outside the tackle. Now they're going to claim intentional grounding, and it is Bledsoe's pleading his case that Falk was in the area.
But the problem with Drew is that he threw it right into the ground. And that is what you can't do. Back off is what Ed Hockley is saying. Back off. Now he's going to consult with his other guys. If you're outside the tight end box, you may get rid of the football if you get it back to the line of scrimmage. But you're not allowed to just throw it into the ground.
Now Pete Carroll is claiming that Kevin Falk was in the area, but
Intentional grounding by the offense quarterback. Threw the ball down into the ground. The receiver in the general area doesn't matter when the ball is thrown into the ground.
Yep.
Half the distance to the goal, loss of down, brings up second down.
The throwing into the ground. Now Drew Bledsoe, when he gets clear out beyond this point, if he rolls outside the hash, he's now outside the box, but he's allowed to throw it upfield back towards the line of scrimmage. He's not allowed to just shoot the thing into the ground. And you heard Ed Hockley, I think very good use of the field, Mike, explaining to us that is why he flagged Bledsoe.
Loss of down after the half the distance. 2nd and 17 now at the 8-yard line.
And Drew just feels like he's victimized there. You know, he didn't throw it right at his own feet and just bounce it, but it was a pretty deliberate action of spiking the football, and he got flagged for it.
Draw play. Falk skips into the secondary, moves it out to the 17-yard line. Runs into Sam Cowart and Sam Rogers.
The one thing, Vern, that Buffalo got out of that last one was that they got Drew Bledsoe out of the pocket, and that is where they want him to be. The last couple of weeks that Drew has had all these problems with interception, he has been under a tremendous amount of pressure. He has been harried, he has been knocked down, he has been sacked, and that is the way to defend Drew Bledsoe. Do not allow him to survey the field.
Spread formation on 3rd and 8. Had a little bit of trouble controlling the snap. Now fires it out. It is caught, but short of the first down at the 21. Catch made by Lamont Warren, number 27, and Marlo Perry was there.
You want to guess who was chasing Drew Bledsoe?
I'll give number 7 and 8.
I'll give you one guess. Good guess, Vern. Bruce Smith taking the upfield on Bruce Armstrong, and Bledsoe luckily saw him coming, but he had good enough protection on the right side. He was allowed to take a step or two forward and complete the pass, but still short.
Johnson has to run it, and he will scamper. He's got a first down. Now, I think that was improvisational. He drifted to his left. You think it was designed?
No, I don't. I think he thought he was going to get the punt blocked.
Yes.
I think he maybe, although I don't know, he looked like he might have had time to kick it, Vern.
Well, the snap came a little to his left.
And a little high, but really Johnson fields it pretty cleanly, and at the last minute when he sees the pressure coming upfield by Carpenter, he decides to go ahead and run with it. And at that point in time, everybody in a Buffalo jersey had their back turned running downfield to make a block.
13-yard gain.
That's a pretty heads-up play by Lee Johnson.
Bledsoe shakes the tackle and can't get the second one. He is knocked down by Ted Washington.
Don't want to make a habit of having Ted Washington land on top of you. Sam Rogers with a good upfield rush, and that's about as gently as you can be deposited by Big Ted.
Coming up at the half, the NASDAQ halftime report. We'll be going back to New York. Jim, Craig, Randy, and Jerry, scores and highlights, and Greg Gumbel and Phil Simms will have a preview of the second big game in our doubleheader. The Jets and the Colts, another critical AFC Eastern Division battle. 2 to go, first half. I'm in 12 after the sack, and Pete Carroll.
I think Pete would be happy with a first down. If he could go into halftime just down 3-0 and without giving Flutie and the Bills another shot with the wind at their back here before halftime, I think he'd be pretty pleased.
Kevin Falk and Chris Floyd in the backfield now on 2nd and 12. And Terry Glenn and Sean Jefferson, the wideouts. Glenn comes near side against Thomas Smith. And they will hand it off to Falk, who follows Floyd's block around the right side and is forced out of bounds at the 36-yard line.
And Buffalo doesn't have to take a timeout to stop the clock because Falk gets run out of bounds.
3 of 3 on 4th downs and Zippled on 3rd downs. And Ben Coates limping off. So Rod Rutledge has taken his place.
Ben, who strained a knee at the very beginning of training camp, the first week of camp, and has been bothered off and on all year with some injuries.
3rd and 9. Rutledge in motion. 4-man Buffalo rush. Bledsoe is going to be caught and dropped again. That is the 4th sack in the first half.
And it's one of the real luxuries, Vern, that Ted Cottrell, the defensive coordinator of the Bills, has, that he gets a legitimate pass rush out of just 4 guys. He doesn't have to gamble defensively. The Bills don't blitz a whole lot, and that is the reason why.
On 4th down, Lee Johnson back to punt. Very short into the wind, and it takes a New England bounce ultimately, but is down at the 40-yard line. 28-yard punt return, no return. Buffalo leads it with 1:37 to go before the halftime break, and when that happens, we'll go back to New York for the NASDAQ halftime report. Jim, Craig, Randy, and Jerry scores and highlights of all of the games going on in the National Football League this afternoon. Bills have 2 timeouts left and the ball at their own 42.
They've got to go for points.
Flutie dumps it across the middle, and it's caught by Linton at the 47-yard line.
I would suspect that Buffalo will go to the shotgun. Doug loves the formation. It's the best way to scoot along.
Trying to make sure that Jonathan Linton knows the play call. Linton lines up wide to the right side. 2nd down and 6. Blitz coming. 5-man rush. Flutie takes a shot. Has a man open. Eric Moulds has Israel slip. Touchdown. 54 yards.
It's the luxury of having the wind at your back. It was just a 5-man rush, and the 5 guys for Buffalo each picked up their man, beautifully blocked. And anytime Doug Flutie gets a one-on-one with Eric Moulds, he's going to it. Steve Israel, that's one way, that's a modern-day censorship.
Extra point is up and good. Eric Moulds, 54 yards, 10-0.
Ostrowski, Erwin, Rucci picks everything up in the middle, and in the slot, Eric Moulds was just locked up one-on-one with Steve Israel, and for some reason, Israel seemed completely surprised by the fact that Moulds was going to run a fly pattern. Even before he fell down, Moulds was already past him. And at this stage of the first half, I'm kind of mystified as to why that would come as some type of a surprise to a corner, that Eric Moulds might go deep.
Eric Moulds had an 84-yard reception, longest of his career, in the second meeting between these two a year ago this weekend. A somewhat infamous game in New England. 25-21 Patriots won that. Here's Kevin Faulk out to the 27-yard line. Eric Moulds, 6th touchdown reception of the year.
Well, and again, big plays are his specialty, right there in the slot. And you see right now, Israel just seemed baffled that instead of like running some hook or sideline pattern, that Eric Moulds was going to run downfield. And Doug Flutie couldn't believe his good fortune. There's his main man all alone downfield. That's about as easy a touchdown pass as Doug Flutie has ever thrown.
10-zip with 53 seconds to go. 1st and 10, New England. 1 timeout left. Handoff to Lamont Warren, number 27. He goes to the right.
The pickup up front, great blocking by the offensive line of Buffalo. And Doug, again, with the luxury of having the wind at his back, laid it in perfectly for a wide-open Eric Moulds. But you know that Moulds is the go-to guy. No offense to Andre Reed, but when you need a big strike, Eric is the man.
On second down, Lamont Warren, as the Pats keep it on the ground. And that should be the final play of the first half. Sean Price with the tackle here. Well, Eric Moulds, 54 yards on the receiving end of Doug Flutie. And that's 5 games out of the last 6 in which he has caught a touchdown pass. This one comes right before the halftime break.
Them for New England, but I am stunned that Buffalo's only run the ball for 11 yards. And as you can see, the Bills like to be up at halftime. They've made the most of it. They're 100%.
Kevin Falk awaits the kickoff from Steve Christie. And we are underway in the third quarter, and there you can see Christie's kick hanging in the wind, almost muffed. It bounced and hit Falk and then picked up by Lamont Warren, who does alertly gather it in and gives the Patriots possession at the 33-yard line. Drew Bledsoe, 7 of 9. 1 interception. That was a killer, intercepted by Ken Irvin and halted on New England thrust. At the 33, 1st and 10. Here's the handoff to Terry Allen. He comes right. And let's go down to Bonnie Bernstein.
All right, Wade Phillips was a bit perturbed by the number of penalties his team incurred early in the game. He said, I think my team's protecting well, but the other team's still doing a really good job of stopping the run. So that's priority 1. Also on the Patriots side, you saw Ben Coates limping off the field towards the end of the first half. Somebody rolled up on his right foot, but he'll be just fine, Vern.
All right, Bonnie, stay warm. 2nd down and 8. Bledsoe comes right. Terry Glenn up in the air, a little high, and Ken Irvin is there to knock it loose. So 7 of 10 for Bledsoe now.
Terry Glenn is wide open. He runs the perfect pattern right at the sideline. He's got first down yardage. Is that a ball he could have caught? Well, yeah, it was certainly catchable, although it was much higher than Drew Bledsoe wanted it to be. Rutledge is in the New England huddle instead of Ben Coates. And Terry Glenn, who has no catches today, and if you joined us late, he sat out the entire first quarter in what was obviously a disciplinary action by Pete Carroll.
Here's Bledsoe. He's been sacked 4 times. He gets around Marcellus Wiley and is pushed out of bounds by Wiley as he gets to the 38-yard line.
The only protection you get as a quarterback in this league is if you want to go into that hook slide. And Drew Bledsoe finding nothing. Good pass protection up front. Drew finally leaves the pocket, but he's just a little, trying to get every yard he possibly can. Drew is a competitor, although he knew he wasn't going to get the first down, and he took the big hit anyway.
Kevin Williams awaits the Lee Johnson punt on 4th down from the 39. This one fairly short and takes a negative New England roll, comes backwards. Given the fact that he had a 20-mile-an-hour breeze at his back, a very ineffective punt. 25 yards for Johnson. Per hour. There initially was a forecast of snow flurries. There's some precipitation that is beginning to fall gently. 1st down and 10. And off to the middle. Goes right. There's a scramble for the football, and there might be a loose ball at the bottom of that pile.
Well, if there's not, there's a whole lot of confused people down there.
High loss seems to think, well, Patriots have recovered it.
Well, New England is pleading for the break they desperately need, and they got it. And Wade Phillips knows you don't turn it over at your own end of the field. Jonathan Linton tries to cut back, and the ball is already gone. There it is, and Jamie Nails looks like he had a shot at it, but Pete was able to see the ball come out, and I don't know if it changed hands at the bottom of that pileup or not, but by the first glance that an official got at it, it was in the arms of a Patriot.
It was Chad Eaton, number 90, who forced the fumble, and Steve Israel, beaten by Eric Moulds just before halftime, who finds a bit of redemption with a fumble recovery. 1st and 10.
Coates is back in.
And Bledsoe goes into the right flat for Coates, who is popped immediately by Thomas Smith at the 43-yard line. Let's go back, Dan, and take another look at that fumble.
Jonathan Linton is the ball carrier. Pretty straightforward here, just an off tackle to the right. He's got a hole and cuts back in. Boy, you can see Eaton, number 90, from behind, got his hand on that ball somehow, but that hardly what you would call a bone-crushing hit to jar that ball loose from Jonathan Linton. Just a little careless with the football. In fact, he was a lot careless with it.
2nd and 9. Bledsoe draw play. Jerry Allen skips to his left and gets inside the 40 to the 37-yard line. Sam Cowart with yet another tackle from his inside linebacker spot. So vital for New England now on the road with the wind behind them.
They have put together some long drives, a pair of 9-play drives and 110, but they have all ended with either a punt or an interception.
3rd and 4 here. Shotgun. 3rd down woes continue for this Patriot offense, and Bledsoe lets it go deep, and it is a one-hopper. Almost picked off. Incomplete. 4th down.
That was an extraordinary look at the field by Drew Bledsoe. I thought he was going to get sacked after standing in the pocket that long. That was one heck of a job by New England's offensive line in blocking for their quarterback. And yet the ball looked, did he lose the grip on it to one-hop it like that after that much time and that kind of a look? Kind of strange.
That brings on Lee Johnson again, 4th time today. Kevin Williams. And it will bounce into the end zone. Touchback. Larry Wickham was very close to making the play. Couldn't do it. Buffalo ball at the 20. We are back at Ralph Wilson Stadium, and take a look at the 3rd down pass from Bledsoe.
Well, this is extraordinary pass protection. He's looking at Troy Brown there, number 80, and hoping, I guess, that Brown would come back to the middle of the field, but it's not often that you'll get an NFL quarterback with that much time in the pocket and be that far from completing a pass.
1st down and 10, Buffalo. Flutie in at quarterback. He'll hand it off to Antoine Smith, who comes left behind the blocking from Sam Gash. Antoine Smith, who had a huge game in that convincing win here 2 weeks ago against Miami. He had 126 yards. That's when he suffered the turf toe, so limited last week in New York to 2 carries. You can see him limping a little bit as he heads off.
Yeah, he's had to have an injection to be able to play. He gets a shot of painkiller right into the toe itself. That's a real appetizing thought, isn't it?
Ouch.
Jonathan Linton, though, is back in the lineup, the lone setback for Buffalo.
Rushing yards for the season, nearly 129, but relatively ineffective today. Here's Flutie, design roll, pulls up, fires it, and it's caught. Coming down the near side is Bobby Collins, who got the start today for Jay Remersma. And Doug Flutie telling us yesterday he's very fast.
Yeah, he said he brings an athleticism to this tight end position with his speed. See, he starts on the opposite side, and Flutie rolls away from him. And oftentimes when a guy does that, the secondary loses track of him. Teddy Bruschi was in the chase position trying to keep up with Bobby Collins. And you can see that a big man, but yet he can streak.
Gain of 45 yards and a 1st down at the 31. That's Collins in motion. Play fake, Flutie fires it right, caught by Sam Gash. He's got a 1st down, spins out of the tackle. All the way in. Touchdown.
Can you spell backbreaker?
It was Andy Katzenmoyer, the rookie linebacker from Ohio State, who blew the tackle.
Well, and he's got the perfect angle on Gash. Katzenmoyer's 59 there on the right of your screen. Watch him. He's going to come in. He has the perfect angle right there. He gets his head in front. And inexplicably doesn't wrap up. Doesn't even come close to wrapping up.
The former Patriot with a dagger. Here's Christie's kick. 31-yard touchdown. That's
where you count on your middle linebacker to deliver a kill shot. Well, guess what? He did for the wrong team.
Slipped a tackle of Andy Katzenmoyer. Goes in for his second receiving touchdown of the year. In the 17-zip, here's Kevin Falk. Struggles across the 30 and is down to the 33.
And let's go back and take a look at it again. Sam Gash, a very effective receiver, gets a block out front from Bobby Collins, the rookie tight end who had a big play on that drive. But geez, the story there is this missed tackle right there by Andy Katzenmoyer. Perfect position, head in front, the shoulder into Gash, but just didn't deliver a blow whatsoever. And again, keep in mind that drive by Buffalo into the wind. New England has had 2 3-and-outs with the wind. New England goes the length of the field into it.
Here's Bledsoe with a play fake, going right side for Jefferson. And there was a tussle with Ken Irvin along the boundary. The pass incomplete. And let's check in with Bonnie Bernstein.
Sam Gash is one of the more popular guys in the Bills locker room, but there might not be a bigger fan of his than guard Reuben Brown. After Gash's touchdown, Brown over him, gave him a huge bear hug, and coming from Reuben Brown, that probably doesn't feel too good, actually. But Reuben said, this guy, we consider him one of our own offensive linemen. He brings it all the time, so when we know he's going to get the ball, we like to block a little extra.
All right, Bonnie, 2nd and 10 now, New England. They find themselves down by 17. Hand off, Terry Allen tries to skip to the outside, cannot do it. Sam Rogers, number 59.
Well, what's really great about Sam Gash, keep in mind that guy had reconstructive knee surgery, got hurt there in the Super Bowl season, the Patriots back in '96, and was able to come back and not just come back and hang out and collect a few paychecks. He's come back to be just every bit as devastating a blocker as he was prior to that knee surgery.
Last 2 weeks before today's game, the Patriots 21% on third downs. They're 0 for 7 today. They go left. Lamont Warren has ended that negative streak. That's a first down at the 44-yard line. Marlo Perry with the tackle.
Drew gets a good look, and down 17-0 in this situation, even though New England has been effective running the football. I think for the balance of this quarter, with the wind at their back, if they're going to get back into this game, it's got to be with Drew trying to make a big play throwing the ball. Not be silly trying to make a big play, but they're going to have to pass their way back into this thing.
Third possession of this half with the wind at their back. First down. Here's Bledsoe. Firing it to Jefferson. Sliding catch made up at the 43-yard line across midfield.
And we have now seen the biggest spark of life the Patriots offense has shown all day. One-on-one with Kenny Irvin, just runs him off. It's the zone. But before Thomas Smith could skate across in front to make the play, Drew drilled it right in.
That's a gain of 13. Jefferson now on first down goes off to the left side against Thomas Smith.
And Terry Glenburn still without a catch?
No catches. They hand it, they keep it on the ground. It's Kevin Falk, the rookie running back. Falk bothered by a shoulder injury sustained last week. Tonight on 60 Minutes, it might make sense to you, but it didn't to 60 Minutes. That the Army ruled this captain's death a suicide and not a murder. That story tonight on 60 Minutes. Second down at the 40 in a 17-0 game. Pete Carroll prowling the sideline as we're under 8 to go, quarter number 3. Critical game for both clubs. Bledsoe left side. Again, he's on target, this time to Troy Brown at the 29-yard line. That is another New England first down.
Boy, that's one way to get good audio. Have the receiver run right into one of our microphones. Again, Terry Glenn runs deep, and breaking the pattern off short is Troy Brown. And luckily, I think both Troy Brown and our tech on the sideline come out of this intact.
Gotta sound tough sometimes. At the 25, the handoff goes to Kevin Falk. John Holisek with the tackle. Doubleheader for you today as we get really into the thick of things in the NFL on CBS. Most of you will see the Jets go after the Colts in Indianapolis. Others will see Kansas City and Oakland as those two teams struggle to keep pace with the Seattle Seahawks.
So the Jets have won 3 in a row. We saw them last week beat this Buffalo team. Woe be to the team that takes the Jets lightly.
On second down, here's Bledsoe. Goes deep. Centers for the short man. It's Rutledge, the alternate tight end, as Coates had taken the deep route, but that's good enough to move the chain again. Dan.
And for the first time today, the the New England offense looks in sync, like they are moving with confidence and they're moving with some sense of a purpose. Yes, they've run the ball well today, but it has all been sporadic. And even though Bruce Smith after Drew out of the pocket, able to make the completion. Bruce skates all the way down the line of scrimmage and then comes upfield. What wonderful range he has.
Glenn and Brown split left on 1st and 10. Jefferson to the right. Play fake by Bledsoe. Looks across the middle, has a receiver open at the 7-yard line. The catch made for the first catch of the day, Terry Glenn. That is a gain of 11.
And New England playing now with a sense of urgency, as well they should. This game on the verge of getting away from them. A touchdown here puts them right back in it. And Drew Bledsoe has been pinpoint sharp on this drive.
Lamont Warren is in with Falk in the backfield, and Coates goes in motion. Here's Falk. Oh, it's fumble! Ball's loose. Bledsoe can't get it. Scramble. Buffalo ball. Third fumble of the season for the rookie running back Kevin Falk. Bills have it back.
Here, there, watch him come in, put a helmet coming in from the right there. He puts a helmet right on the football and knocks it loose. Bruce Armstrong, I thought he was going to fall on the ball for New England, but it got away from him.
Now the Bills with the first down at the 9-yard line. Handoff goes to Antoine Smith. He plunges over right tackle out to the 11-yard line.
Yeah, once the ball was on the ground, and again we'll get a good look here. As Falk cuts back, boy, just the helmet right on the football. That was laser sighting by Holisek to knock that ball loose. Bruce Armstrong, I thought, was going to fall on the ball. He had the best chance. And rather than falling right on the ball, you watch him here, he tried to pick it up with his hands, overshot it, and Sam Rogers comes out of there with the football. That's a devastating blow to New England.
Right tackle Robert Hicks injured on that last running play, so time has been called while they take care of that injury. Number 69, a third-year man, has taken his spot. And Antoine Smith, the running back, also limped off the field during the timeout and really favoring that turf toe.
So the right side of the Buffalo line, all new guys with nails in there for Dusty Ziegler, who, again, isn't playing today because of the death of his mother this week.
Second down, Flutie. Linton with Gash leading the way. And Lawyer Malloy comes over to contend with Sam Gash. Knocks him out of bounds. Emmy Award winners James Garner and Julie Andrews star as two people stranded in a blizzard find a second chance at love. Don't miss these two great stars in a world premiere movie, One Special Night, tonight on CBS. And just to document the story again, Antoine Smith suffered that turf toe in the game here against Miami. Hardly could go last week in New York. Tried to give it a go today, and it just came out on the last couple of plays ago. Obviously in pain.
And it's the big toe on his right foot, and as you can imagine, pushing off excruciating.
3rd and 3. Flutie flips it out. Caught. Peerless Price at the 22-yard line. 7 yards. Tackle made by Tebucky Jones.
And you watch Doug Flutie. I don't know if it was the years in Canada, in Boston, or here in Buffalo, but he's going what wind? He is throwing the ball effectively right into the teeth of this 25-mile-an-hour wind. This is a beautiful pattern on 3rd down. Crossing, you don't need a whole lot of yards. And Tebucky Jones again, a couple steps late in trying to stay with Peerless Price.
Flutie has hit his last 6 in succession. They'll keep it on the ground here. Linton, big hole, bangs up the middle, and is down at the 39-yard line. 18-yard gain. Ty Law and Chris Carter get up with him.
Well, check out the blocking. We talked about how it's a new right side. Lawyer Malloy comes in on the blitz, overshoots it, and isn't able to come back in on Linton. But the reality was that Fina and Brown and Ostrowski really caved things in, and here comes Linton out of the lineup limping.
And that leaves it up to number 31, rookie Lennox Gordon, who has carried 5 times for 15 yards this season. Free agent from New Mexico is the setback. Gets the handoff, number 31, and he's down at the 38-yard line. Now let's go back to New York and check in with Jim Nance. All right, Jim. And Antoine Smith is back on the field here on 2nd down and 10. Ball at the 40-yard line. Flutie, straight drop back. Yeah, skips. Throws it away. That's only the 2nd incomplete pass of the day for Flutie. Monday on CBS, work off those Thanksgiving calories with some king-sized laughs. Watch Kevin James, Leah Remini, and the one and only Jerry Stiller on an all-new King of Queens comedy Monday on CBS. You had a teammate named Foghorn once, right? A friend?
I did. And you know what?
You want to travel down that path?
All guys who are a few pounds overweight. You know, the king. That show is made for. There's a comfort zone there.
3rd down out of the shotgun. Here's Flutie. It's tipped. That's the first batted ball today. He had 4 last week in New York.
How dare you want me to incriminate one of my teammates like that?
No, I just found the saga of Foghorn interesting.
Doug Flutie, boy, look at that protection he got. And this is something that we're seeing a lot out of teams defensing Buffalo. You saw Teddy Bruschi there with the block. Guys are hovering around the line of scrimmage, realizing that sometimes what's more effective than pressuring Flutie is blocking it, blocking the pass.
Chris Moore into the wind. Troy Brown grabs it at the 22. Heads left, has a little bit of room, and is pushed out of bounds at the 35-yard line by Keon Carpenter. Doubleheader for you today, and of course many of you will see that critical AFC Eastern Division Championship division game, not a championship game. Though down the road, I suppose it could be.
Oh, why not?
Why, what the heck? Jets in Indianapolis, as the Colts have really gathered some fans around the country this year, and the Jets with that horrid start have fought back and are factors now. That's the game most of you will see after this one's in the bank. Bledsoe, 13 of 18, 110, 1 interception today. Play fake, rush coming, and he fires it after the 40-yard line. Incomplete. John Holasek was there to defend.
Well, the Patriots have made their share of mistakes. A lot of pressure on Drew Bledsoe today. Of course, that's been the fare for the last couple of weeks. There he overthrows his receiver for the interception, and there's the fumble. And it has been, as the old saying goes, mistakes are killing us. And that is the mantra today for the Patriots. And there's another one.
Bledsoe fumbles it, picks it up, and has it dropped out on the left side by Chris Floyd. So that would look like a disaster at both ends.
Well, it looked like the snap was a little low and to the right and didn't have a lot on it by the rookie center, Damien Woody. It's the quarterback in that shotgun. Would like to be comfortable enough to take that snap without actually focusing on the ball. You're wanting to look downfield and see the coverage. And as you see, it's one unproductive drive after another.
On third down, here comes the blitz. Bledsoe steps up, goes across the middle to Glenn, circles out of the tackle and gets yardage for a first down. Needed 10, he got 12.
Terry Glenn, again, Drew Bledsoe, very effective in buying time. Terry Glenn was not the initial receiver on this, but Drew moved around in the pocket, evaded the rush, bought himself another second or two. And as we've been seeing all day out of both teams, that shallow crossing pattern coming open.
Here's Terry Allen with the handoff. Across the 50 to the 49-yard line.
And you know this Buffalo defense, Vern, is just looking up at that clock, clicking away here as we get down to the final minute of this third quarter, which is the final minute of the Patriots having the wind at their back. Now the Bills have moved the ball into the wind, but the Patriots have not. And when they have to do it in the fourth quarter, that's what they're going to be faced with. About a good steady 20 to 25.
Bruce Smith injured, out of the game right now. Here's Bledsoe back, and he is sacked for the 5th time today. 5 sacks against Miami last week, 5 more this afternoon.
And those 5 sacks don't even tell the story of the pressure, of the knockdowns. Drew just trying desperately to find somebody. Wisely tucks it up, doesn't want to have it come loose. But he just, the pocket just disintegrates around Bledsoe. And again, Vern, I want to make the point how Buffalo really has done a wonderful job defensively today of mixing it up. Rushing 4, rushing 5. There's Ted Cottrell, their defensive. He's done a great job today.
Clock is stopped before the snap here by the officiating crew. On 3rd and 13. That is the end of 3. That is the end of the wind at their backs for the New England Patriots. We'll return to Ralph Wilson Stadium right after this word from your local station. In the fourth quarter, 17-0. 3rd and 13 Patriots. Bledsoe dances out of trouble to his right. Lets it go incomplete. Another 3rd down difficulty for the New England Patriots. They're now 2 of 10.
And again, another example of pressure on Bledsoe. He is forced to leave the pocket. That's Sean Price, number 91, who initially forces Drew on the move. And then he takes the shot at the very end from the guy who just came back in, Bruce Smith.
Smith out for just a couple of plays with a dinged right knee, but obviously okay.
The Buffalo front 4 has really been dominant today.
Johnson. Kevin Williams, fair catch. Grabs it at the 19-yard line. 36-yard punt. Bills have the ball and a 17-point lead. Got for the Houston Rockets at one time.
Hope it does better than the last one.
That's right. 1st and 10, Buffalo. Woody will keep it on the ground. Hands it off to Antoine Smith, number 35. Next Saturday, the Home Depot College Football presents one of the grandest traditions in all of sports, the 100th Army-Navy game. One of football's all-time great rivalries after 99 meetings. Army leads the series 48, 44, and 7. Roger Staubach remains a good friend, and he used to try and convince me in the 70s that Dallas Redskins was not as important as Army-Navy.
I just love to watch the guys in the stands at the Army-Navy. A real passion.
2nd down and 9. Here's Flutie. He's going deep He's got Moles and overthrows him. Oh, wow.
Jerry Ostrowski going, hey, Doug, the wind's behind you, dummy. Doug lays this up. Eric Moles has a good 3 or 4 steps on Lawyer Milloy. And again, with the wind, Doug just got it up a little high into the jet stream.
We were asking Doug Flutie yesterday, of course. Well, we'll get to that in a second. It's second down, third down.
But you know something? Isn't it refreshing to see what an attitude he has?
On 3rd and 9. Blitz coming from the corner. So he goes left and it's incomplete. Intended for Peerless Price. And that'll be a 4th down.
Ooh, and on the blitz, Doug had what they call a guy who's hot. In other words, he's unblocked. If he comes, you're responsible for reading it. Yeah, and boy, did he take a shot in the process.
Troy Brown back to return the punt of Chris Moore on 4th down and 9. 13:54 to go in regulation.
That's into the jet stream.
Yes, it is. Over the shoulder catch by Brown at the 24. Got a little room. He's out to the 48-yard line. 44 making. Pass and touchdown. And that's where we are now. 17-zip. Patriots have the ball. Bledsoe. Oh! Marlo Perry was dreaming about touchdowns. Had he held on, he would have been untouched.
Just a simple, quick out pattern, and Drew severely underthrows it right into the hands of Marlo Perry. That can't be a confidence-inspiring throw for a quarterback. 2nd down and 10.
Bledsoe finds a receiver, Kevin Falk. Near the yardage needed for the 1st down, might be a foot short across the 50 at the 47-yard line. And the Patriots will go without the huddle.
And wisely go without the huddle. They need some urgency. They need to elevate the heart rate a little bit here.
3rd and 1.
It's tough to audible like this on the road.
Bledsoe comes left for Coates, incomplete. Henry Jones was in the neighborhood, and Phil Hansen was at Bledsoe's knees when the pass was delivered.
Yeah, once again, pressure and Drew Bledsoe have become synonymous with one another. The pocket gets pushed right back into him. You can see he already had one of his own guys down around his knees, Damian Woody. And then Hansen finished it off, and with Henry Jones underneath, that was again another risky throw.
4th time today, the Patriots will go for 1st down. 4th and 1. Bledsoe caught and dropped. Marcellus Wiley. 6 sacks on Drew Bledsoe.
Well, the Patriots, I think, being risky on 4th and 1. I don't mind going for it, but when you go into the shotgun formation, you've got to complete a pass into the wind, and Bledsoe doesn't even get it off.
12:55 to go in the game. And a bye week coming up. One of the last teams in the league to get a week off. Backs in the eye, Linton the deep back. Sheldon Jackson in motion. Linton goes left for a couple.
Well, this is what Drew Bledsoe was looking at on 4th down. That's Sean Moran, who's getting the pressure right up the field, and then from the backside, here comes Marcellus Wiley. But again, on 4th and 1, going into the shotgun formation, I think Pete Carroll and his team were really proverbially putting all of their eggs in one basket. Well, you know, on 4th and a yard, I'm a little more of a guy that would like to come up under center, at least have the threat of a run.
2nd down and 9, Buffalo now. Flutie will throw it. No, he'll run it. And he picks up a couple to the 37-yard line. Well, we mentioned Buffalo has a bye week coming up, so they get a chance to rest. And then they will complete the season at home against the Giants, 2 road games at Arizona, the rematch with New England, and then they wind up with what could be a huge game here on the first weekend of the new year against Indianapolis.
Doug Flutie putting his shoe back on. He lost his shoe on that little scramble. Had to take a knee and retie it.
3rd and 8.
I figure he wears about a size 6.
You're going to hear about that. Oh, you're going to hear about that.
All right.
It's DIERDORF. 3rd down. Here's Flutie. Incomplete, intended for Eric Moulds. And that'll bring up 4th down. Well, we were talking with Doug yesterday, and he is a most engaging fella. Asked him if he could empathize with Drew Bledsoe and the 5 interceptions last week. Had you ever thrown 5? He said. 6, actually. He said, my first year with Calgary, we were playing Edmonton on Labor Day. I threw 2 Hail Marys at the end of respective halves. 1 was tipped, and 3 were just awful.
Were just bad passes.
Yeah. 6.
But with Doug Flutie, he said the Pro Bowl election of last year legitimized me. It really made me feel like I really do belong in this league. Well, Doug, you darn right you do. And at 37, he's as active a little guy as I've ever seen.
So size 6 is half possessions. Down 17-0 now. They have abandoned the run. This will be the 20th pass of the second half against only 8 runs. And this one is batted down by Henry Jones. Now let's go back to New York and check in with Jim Nantz. Oh, he has been reborn. We saw the feature on the NFL Today earlier on Jeff George. Signed a 1-year, $400,000 contract. Here's the pass to Coates out to the left side, and a flag is thrown after the pass was thrown.
I think Buffalo was offsides. I think Buffalo was in the neutral zone at the snap of the ball. Now let's see if anything else was going on or if they were drawn.
There were fouls by both teams on the play. Offside, defensive left end. There was also holding, offense number 65. The penalty's offset. Replay, second down.
Pete Carroll just can't seem to catch a break in this game. He and his Patriots are their own worst enemies. Damian Woody, his rookie center, gets the call for the hold. And this is a hot topic in New England. How the Patriots get off to fast starts and then go into a swoon.
3rd year in a row under Pete Carroll, they have started 4-1. In each of the 2 previous years, they've come back in December and bettered things. But this year, a 4-0 start, then they were 6-2. In 97, they started 5-1, lost 3 in a row. 4-1 start in 98. And then they started 4-0. But the truth be told, Dan, of their 6 wins this year, only 1 win has come against a team with a winning record. So the level of competition in their case has not been superb. Here's Jefferson, makes the grab out at the 31-yard line. Ken Irvin.
Boy, was that a large play. Bledsoe to Jefferson that moves the chains here. They cannot afford any more 3-and-outs. Good pro up front, good look for Drew. And this Sean Jefferson, as he does time in and time out, comes up with a big play for New England. He is having a really productive year.
Bledsoe for Coates, incomplete at the 37-yard line.
Vernon, the big deal for New England here is that if they lose this game, it's their 4th loss in the division.
In a row.
That's right, in a row. And we all know how competitive the AFC East is, and they sent 4 teams to the playoffs last year. Well, they won't send 4 teams to the playoffs this year because of Tennessee and Jacksonville over there in the center.
Now Bledsoe in trouble, almost sacked for the 7th time.
And he gets hammered by Bruce Smith, and that's why there was an incomplete pass. Bruce. And Bruce Smith goes to the inside and actually gets hit by Max Lane and moves inside the block of Terry Allen. 3 New England Patriots working against Bruce Smith are within the range of striking him, and he still knocks Bledsoe down and forces an incomplete pass.
Here's third down again. Bledsoe with time throws it away. Ken Irvin was the closest man to the ball. Well, it's a critical game coming up as the second game of our doubleheader today as the Jets go into Indianapolis. The Colts 8-2 with the fresh set of triplets. Miami 8-3 after their loss to Dallas on Thanksgiving Day. Buffalo at 7-4, then New England. And as Bill Parcells said to his Jets when they were 1-6, it ain't over. Williams on the punt return, and he is gang tackled at the 25. Now let's check in with Bonnie Bernstein.
With 4 teams in the AFC at 8-2 coming into today, and the Jags at 9-1. Obviously, both the Bills and Patriots knew how important this game was, and Doug Flutie told us the intensity this week in practice was unlike anything he's experienced this season. He said on Wednesday we were doing inside run drills. The first couple of plays, the scout team was getting off the line so quickly, flying into the backfield. They were going full throttle, and the offense was only at 80%, and I knew right then it was time to get it on. Vern?
All right, Bonnie, and Flutie and the boys have a first down with the wind still whistling out of the west at about 25 miles an hour at their backs. And off. Across a little bit, Jonathan Linton out across the 30 to the 31-yard line. Thursday on CBS, find out who will be the athlete of the century when entertainers Garth Brooks, Whitney Houston, and Paul Simon join all-time greats Michael Jordan, Muhammad Ali, Wayne Gretzky, and Joe Montana. Sports Illustrated's 20th Century Sports Awards, Thursday at 9 o'clock, 8 Central on CBS.
This is the most helpless time in the world for the quarterback whose team is losing. You just sit there, you want the ball, you want to try to make something happen, and you watch the other team trying it away. Again, Jonathan with a cutback play at the line of scrimmage. And that just might be enough to buy a fresh set of downs. Drew is the New England Patriots offensive team. So much pressure put on Drew Bledsoe with the passing game. One of the 3 or 4 best quarterbacks in football, without a doubt. But when it's not happening passing-wise for New England, they really have no chance of winning. Team is 30-6 when he does not throw an interception. And the record goes south when he has 1 or more, and he had 1 in the first half today when he was intercepted by Ken Irvin. And teams that are well-rounded and have a better balance are able to overcome things like interceptions from their quarterback. Sheldon Jackson in motion to the left. Left and right now for a while. As we are under 8 minutes to go. Teddy Bruschi makes the tackle here. And Dan, the task really does not get easy for New England. They've got to go back home now against a Dallas team that is suddenly showing signs of life and devastated Miami on Thanksgiving. And it's you know, a little bit of the unfairness of being stuck in the AFC East. The loser of this game is still going to leave here with a losing record. And there's the schedule that Vern was talking about. They're with a winning record, rather. Either one of these teams, if they lost, will be winners. But yet, really on the outside looking in. And New England, especially because of those 4 division losses, really a tough shot to make. Here comes Linton Wright. This is the alternative version of what we just saw. And I know you chatted with Bob Kraft. Inevitably, the speculation comes up in New England about Pete Carroll's status with this team. Well, and it's been that way ever since Pete got there. He had the unenviable task of trying to replace Bill Parcells. And, you know, Pete's too passive. Pete's not this. Pete's not that. Bob Kraft is not going to fire Pete Carroll. Not on the results of this game, not on the results of next week's game. The Patriots are still in it. And it would be a foolish move to dump Pete Carroll at this point in the season. Now, Bob Kraft at the end of the year, who knows? But during the season, after talking to him, I think there's absolutely no chance whatsoever.
Screen pass to Linton from Flutie. And Linton breaks a tackle, rumbles across the 40 and is down at the 35-yard line. A 28-yard pickup.
And you think that might come awfully close to nailing this one shut for Buffalo. Sloppy tackling has hurt New England all day. And again, they have players in position to make the play. That time Bucky Jones was right there in a position to make the tackle on Linton, and they don't wrap up and they don't make the big hit.
First down at the 35 and the clock under 6. Flutie, that looked like a broken play. Now he looks for a block from Sheldon Jackson. Scoots to the left. Flag is down. It'll come back. Holding.
Holding, offense, number 70, 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
There's the owner behind the glass.
And Bob Kraft has reason to be proud of what has happened to the New England franchise since he became owner. This was a franchise that had very little success since they went to the Super Bowl back in '85. They were really in the doldrums, and Bob has really resurrected that franchise. Tickets, waiting lists are in place in New England, new stadium. He's got it together. And Pete Carroll, I think it's really going to depend on, he can't afford to have this team collapse. Now this is 3 in a row. If they lose this, that's a mini collapse. If they collapse the rest of the season, you have to defeat some trouble.
Linton going right at the 42-yard line. Steve Israel makes the tackle. Now Buffalo, Bill Parcells telling us last week he thinks they are the best balanced team in the East. And pitching a shutout here and working on the clock right now.
And you had Bill Parcells touting them before the game last week with the Jets, saying that they are talent-wise the best team in the division on both sides of the football.
Lennox Gordon in the lineup, second down and 17. Well played. Lennox Gordon with the 35-yard
Another flag. Another flag.
And another flag.
Ed Hockley throws this one and another hold. That's Carl Mock, the offensive line coach of the Buffalo Bills.
What, I couldn't read his lips. What did he just say?
I think Carl is saying, "Go get him, guys." Carl has been around a long time. He played 13 years in this league.
Offense, number 79, 10-yard penalty, repeat second down.
I think Carl doesn't think that Ruben did it. One of the more colorful characters.
Yes.
A friend of mine for a long, long time.
And the holding call on Ruben Brown, and that brings the ball back to the 49-yard line with 4:28 remaining. Second game of the doubleheader, of course. Most of you will see the Jets at Indianapolis. Others will watch Kansas City at Oakland. That's game 2 of the doubleheader today on CBS.
This is some year going on in the AFC, isn't it?
Second and 27. Lennox Gordon skips out of the tackle of Willie McGinnis and is down at the 42. Now let's get another update. Back to New York. Here's Jim Nantz.
Gain of 9 on the play. Third down.
All right, thank you, Jim. Carl Mock still disgusted with that holding call, among other things.
Well, Carl is one of those guys that kind of keeps the heat on. He loves to have a good laugh, but you know what? Not during a football game. Football is business. Football is toughness. It's about smacking guys around, and then Carl will have a good laugh after the game.
Maybe a brewski or two.
You think? Right to have soul searching as long as it's not accompanied by finger pointing.
3rd and 18. Lennox Gordon heading left. Dropped at the 33. That'll bring up a 4th down. Tackle is made by Brandon Mitchell, number 98. New England uses one of its allotment of 3, the previous timeout called by Buffalo, so both teams have used one timeout. 3:32 to go in this one.
And a nice recovery, Vern, by Buffalo after that real disappointing loss to the New York Jets last week at the Meadowlands. Buffalo went into that game thinking to themselves that we're a superior team to the Jets. And they got, I know Doug had a couple interceptions, but in a physical game, they came out on the short end to the Jets. And this is a kind of a win after a defeat like that makes you forget all about it.
Look at this. It has been 7 years plus since the Bills threw a shutout. 38-0 against Indianapolis in '92. They did devastate Miami here just a couple of weeks ago, 23-3. But quite an effort today, and particularly by that defensive front four. 4th down. Flutie buys a lot of time.
Maybe running out the clock.
And Chris Slade makes the pick, but he was out of bounds when he put his second hand on it. So the ball goes over on downs. Patriots come back on. By the way, if you're watching Doug Flutie, those of you in the Buffalo area, if you see highlights of Doug meeting with the press after the game is over, you will notice an unusual fedora. He lost a wager with his teammate Bruce Smith. So Flutie has promised to appear in the press conference wearing a Virginia Tech baseball cap.
Virginia Tech and Boston College locked up over the weekend, and Bruce's boys spanked them pretty good, and Doug wearing the old Virginia Tech hat, although maybe he's wearing it just because Bruce told him to.
Across the middle it goes, Lamont Warren, and the Patriots move the ball out to the 50-yard line. Gain of 17. That's a 1st and 10 for the Patriots.
Hello, unabated.
That would be the appropriate description.
Vern, the game for Buffalo that impressed me, and when I watched that game, I said, here is a team that is as good as any team in the AFC.
Before the snap, encroach offside defense, number 78, unabated towards the quarterback. 5-yard penalty, still 1st down.
Was when they ground out that win over Miami, in Miami, the first week of October on Monday night. Hot night, and their defense was just unbelievable. And I thought that was a statement win by the Buffalo Bills. I don't know, it's impossible to leave Florida with a win like that and not be energized and think to yourself, hey, you know something, guys? We are as good as we think we are.
And they are now about to defeat the Patriots in the first of 2 meetings this year. Next time these two get together will be on Christmas weekend. Here's Bledsoe deep left side. And it's caught by Terry Glenn. And the shutout goes bye-bye.
And the game is afoot. They'll be down by 10 with a little under 3 minutes to play. It's not over yet. Terry Glenn working here against Thomas Smith, and Glenn able to react to the ball, underthrown and back to the inside a little bit, and Thomas Smith is not. Again, so often as we see the underthrown pass really favors the receiver in a one-on-one situation like that when they're running abreast.
45-yard reception by Glenn. The extra point from Vinatieri is up and through. And with 2:41 left in this one, the margin is 10.
Thomas Smith, Terry Glenn side by side, but as the ball comes up short, thrown into that wind as it comes up short, Terry Glenn is the one that's able to make the adjustment. And on top of it all, makes a really nice catch.
Third catch today, fourth touchdown of the year for Terry Glenn. Sat out the first quarter in what we assume was a disciplinary move by Pete Carroll because of a late arrival at practice on Thursday. 67 yards in 40 seconds, and it's 17-7. Both teams 2 timeouts left. And Bledsoe now with 205 yards, his first touchdown today to counteract the 1 interception.
If I was late for practice on Thanksgiving morning, I would have told him it's because I had trouble getting the turkey in the oven before I left for practice.
You would have, yeah?
By the time I got it all trussed up and stuffed and basted.
And you're telling me that Don Coryell would have bought that?
Not in a million years,
I didn't.
but at least I would have tried it.
Ready, the hands team for the onside kick. And it comes near side, Andre Reed, 15-year veteran.
That is
There's
the
a hands
epitome
team.
of the handstand.
Now we've talked about Bruce Smith and Andre Reed. Another great veteran is with Bonnie Bernstein right now.
I think we know you, Thurman Thomas, part of the, I don't want to say old regime because I don't want to insult you, but you've been around 12 years. Kidney and liver bruise, what have you been doing to try to rehab that?
Well, there's nothing that I can do. Only thing I've been able to do right now in the last 5 or 6 weeks is just to work out on the Stairmaster and ride the treadmill. There's no, the best thing for me to do is just to rest, and that's what I've been doing since week 1.
When's your projected time for return?
I get a test done tomorrow at 9:30 in the morning, and if everything is okay, it'll be against the Giants.
All right, thanks, Thurman. Vern?
All right, Bonnie, thank you. Injured on the first play of the season and has been sidelined since.
And that game that Thurman refers to against the Giants is in 2 weeks after their bye. So there is a real legitimate chance that Thurman Thomas will be back to help the Bills during the stretch run in December.
Time called by the Patriots. That is their second. They have 1 remaining. And another reminder, the doubleheader for you. Most of you get to see the Jets, Indianapolis. Others will watch Kansas City at Oakland. How about the tandem of Reed and Smith together since '85, the trio of Reed, Smith, and Thurman Thomas since 1988. Pretty good foundation for a decent football team.
And this, by the way, if it ends up being a Buffalo win, would be their 100th of the decade. And that would allow them to join only the 49ers here in the decade of the 90s as a franchise that has won at least 100 regular season games. Now, they haven't won it yet, but if they do, these are the teams that have done it in the past. And as you see, San Francisco is the only other team that has done it this decade that we are about to close out.
Here's Linton again. Dallas won its 99th game of the decade with a victory over Miami on Thursday.
And barring the mother of all collapses, the Cowboys will join that list.
You like their chances. Here's the list. San Francisco leads the way with 112.
And you cannot think of all of those wins, those 99 wins for the Buffalo Bills here in the 90s, without thinking of that man right there, Marv Levy. One of the wonderful people that has ever been associated with the game of football. And Ralph Wilson, who has owned this Buffalo Bills franchise for 40 years, the only owner they have ever had and John Butler, their GM, and before that Bill Polian, who was here. It has just been, at least here in the 90s, a real model of consistency.
Patriots are out of timeouts, and Buffalo has a 3rd down and 4. A 10-point, 17-7 lead. Linton goes left, and he is down at the 30-yard line. That'll bring up 4th down. A tackle made by Chris Slade.
2 good things by Jonathan Linton, holding onto the football and staying on the green stuff. Don't go out of bounds.
So the clock will wind down to the 2-minute warning. We'll have a stoppage of play at that point. And a 4th down and 1 when we come back. Buffalo leads by 10.
Under pressure all day long. Bruce Smith and company had Drew on the run all day.
That exemplified by the 6 Bledsoe sacks today. Now 4th down and 1 for the Bills. And this one should be in the books. The Bills will move the chain. And the Patriots cannot stop the clock. We will give Buffalo the win. They move to 8-4, 4-2 in the division. The Patriots lose for the 3rd time in as many games and fall to 6-5. Well, the division has been interesting to say the least. In the 90s, Buffalo with 4 AFC East titles, New England a couple, Miami 2, the Jets 1, and of course the Colts looking for their first of this decade, but what promise they have.
And next week, the Colts and the Dolphins tee it up in what you might call a semi-big game.
Would you be interested in seeing that game?
I would be interested in seeing that game. To this point, it's the game of the year in the AFC East.
I think I can arrange transportation for you.
You want to do it?
I'll see you in Miami.
Meet you there.
Okay. 1 minute to go. Wade Phillips and the Buffalo Bills back home. And now they get a week to rest. Final 45. And Flutie will take a knee, as they say.
And, you know, just think about what Buffalo accomplished here today. Jay Riemersma, their starting tight end, didn't play. Dusty Ziegler, their starting right guard, didn't play. Antoine Smith, their lead running back, not all that effective with a bad toe. Wade Phillips' team stepped up big today. I know they were at home, but they stepped up big, and boy, did they play big.
Buffalo wins it 17-7. And they climb to 8-4 for the year. Ten-point win for the Buffalo Bills. And a bye week coming up. The Patriots back home against Dallas. Second game of the doubleheader is next. Most of you see the Jets in Indy. For Bonnie Bernstein and Dan Deerdorf, I'm Vern Lundquist saying goodbye from Buffalo. Let's go back to Jim Nantz.